Hey everyone, it's Megan Wise. Happy Christmas. Can't believe it's December's here, but we are not thinking about the big man yet. We are thinking about what's happening in our schools here in Fishers and how the school board redistricting all of the Fishers area, how's that affecting us right now as realtors, as parents, as students. So with me is a very good friend, Jessica Vince. Hello, Jess.
Hi.
Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I want to share is Jessica is a good friend, a member of the Fishers community. She is a teacher and she's a concerned parent of 3. And she is actually, I would consider an expert on what's been going on in the last couple of months. We've been having lots of great conversations about the redistricting and how it's going to affect our community. And then what does that look like for realtors? What does that look like for parents? So we're here because we want to talk about all the angles of this issue. Is it an issue? How can we make it better for the entire community? The HSE School Board meets on Wednesday, December 10th. We'll have the details provided at 6 p.m. And what they're doing is voting on the recommendation that was sent out here in December. So we'd like to review it, discuss it, and then encourage anybody that has any kind of thoughts or opinions to come reach out and come talk with us. But now we're going to talk just in depth of like what happened in the last couple of years of growth and how is that affecting our schools. So Jessica, tell me, just give us a little bit of background about you and where you live and all that good stuff.
Sure. So I actually live in a unique part of the area because I actually live in Noblesville. However, we are districted for HSE schools. The area has grown exponentially since we built our house.
Which neighborhood are you in?
Blue Ridge Creek.
Blue Ridge Creek, right by Finch Creek.
Yes.
Mojo up.
Yes, right off of 156 in Bowdoin. My oldest started school the year that we built. So 2018, my oldest started school. The very next year, so she would have been in kindergarten in HSE.
Okay.
The very next year, we were redistricted to the brand new school that was opening, Southeastern Elementary.
Yeah.
And we
Shout out to Southeastern. We love Southeastern.
And so we were there for a few years before they realized. Actually, I think
early on, didn't they? We had
take
pods.
that. Yeah, actually, they realized right at the beginning of Southeastern that really it was overcrowded.
When Southeastern first opened, it was overcrowded.
Yes.
My kids were there for their first year too. We got redistricted from Geist to SCS. And at SCS, it was already overcrowded when they opened the doors.
Yes.
So just not understanding like how big of like the impact of all these new homes in that area. And now it's also growing up to 156 to 166 Bowdoin Summer area.
So we got redistricted as soon as Deer Creek was built. HSE is calling that their it wasn't a redistricting because it was only they only moved, so they changed the boundaries. A boundary reassignment, I believe it was called.
That makes sense.
But to be honest, I mean, the amount of kids that it affected, it still was a redistricting in my opinion.
So your section had to go from SES to Deer Creek Elementary.
Yes, and that was after they had already went from Durbin.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Sweet Durbin up there.
Yeah,
your neighborhood would be at Durbin.
Yes, so we were at Durbin. Wow. Then we were redistricted to Southeastern. And then we were redistricted again once Deer Creek opened.
That's right. And now, so that's 3 times.
Yeah.
And your kids have been affected twice at least.
I feel like I have a unique situation. My oldest was grandfathered in, so she was allowed to stay due to her grade level.
Stay at SCS.
Yes.
Southeastern.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we kind of have a unique situation.
That's nice. Okay, so now fast forward, your neighborhood, your little pocket has been redistricted or rezoned on boundaries. And what's the feeling? What's the vibe on the Facebook communities or in, when you're outside playing with the kids? Are parents annoyed or they don't care or it depends?
I think some people don't realize how much it affects them. I think this time around, because it's only affecting the intermediate and the junior high age group, I feel like a lot of people aren't realizing, that it will affect them, eventually.
You're in the thick of holidays and you're not thinking about it doesn't affect my kid now. I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
But if that happens every couple of years, You know, what is the impact of not having your kids consistently go to school with their neighbor friends and building that community,
Right.
and so on and so forth. Okay, so really you're seeing a lot of intermediate and middle school kids being affected, and those are really the people that are caring.
Well, and if you look back, they are the ones that have been affected through elementary, and now they're being affected again.
That's
So,
a good point.
and
Yeah.
what the emotional piece is really like, middle school is hard. Those are some
Amen.
hard
Amen.
years.
You're right.
To have to move those kids, and
That's a
will
good
they be
point.
fine? Yeah, they're going to be
resilient,
fine.
of course.
They're going to be fine.
If they're resilient.
But does that mean that it's like fair to them to be the ones that are constantly being moved around? Absolutely not.
No, I mean, you meet different friends, but we've been affected by boundaries, and I just say figure it out. But it is, if you can raise your voice to be heard, if it's something that's consistently affecting your area, which it does seem like your pocket always gets moved around.
Yeah.
Probably because it's the newest, right? Or it's
Sure.
still built growing. So your pocket is called 05, 06, right?
Yeah,
On
so
the
we're
maps?
we're planning unit 005
Okay.
and planning unit 006. That's our little corridor.
Map section.
Yeah.
And that on Friday of last week, they came out with your 005 and 006 is going to be redistricted again for middle and high, or middle and intermediate.
Yes. So
Okay.
ever since they released the very first recommendation, I believe it was back in November, I believe. Gosh, maybe it was even October.
Yeah, last year.
But ever since they released it, there were several different options for every area.
Okay.
Our area was the same in every single one. And my biggest issue is the fact that they have our area going to schools that we never even could have imagined that we would head that way.
Because it's completely opposite direction of your neighborhood.
Yes, they've went through a few different processes where they've released different information. They've put out surveys. They've allowed residents
feedback.
and families in the area the opportunity to give feedback. What's unfortunate in that situation is I think a lot of people don't realize how important that feedback is.
Yeah, that's fair.
It really appears that they use that feedback in order to make some of these decisions.
Yeah.
I was hoping that I maybe actually did have a voice.
Yeah, amen.
And so I'm like, you know what? Hey, let's try this.
Good for
So
you.
I ended up setting up a meeting. I posted, in Facebook groups. I shared with people that I knew that lived in the area. And I said, hey, let's all get together. Let's come up with some ideas. Let's talk about, what we all have in common. Our area is unique because our intermediate and junior high has always been split. So technically, they've always allowed us to go to HIJH, which is Hamilton Southeastern Intermediate Junior High, but also some of the area goes to Fall Creek. Intermediate and Fall Creek Junior High. And then my specific neighborhood was allowed to go to either or with transportation provided. So the interesting thing with our area is a lot of people are for one or for the other. But really, when it comes down to it, we're all for heading towards a common feeder path, which is what the district has stated numerous times. It is their goal. And when I think of a feeder path, I think of, we're going to start here in elementary, then we may go here for junior high, but we'll end up at the same high school, right?
Yes.
So what's happening with all of their suggestions is that they want us to go to, and I want to say Fisher's schools, because we know that HSE is our school district, but these are all schools in Fisher's. However, there are schools that go to HSE for a feeder path, and then there's schools that go to Fisher. And so what's interesting about that, and I know that our district has really been great in the past on something called choice, so where you get to choose where you go to high school. The thing is, and to be honest, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So for me, I'm like, are we actually going to have a choice by the time my 10-year-old, is in high school? What if she's told she has to go,
One way or the other.
Yeah. And so for me,
you don't trust that choice is going to be available.
yes. And then the other thing is I was speaking to a high school teacher today, and I was like, hey, so I'm kind of curious. How does this work? So what she explained to me is that you take your, if you ride the school bus, you would ride the school bus to your set high school. From there, you ride a transfer bus to your transfer school. So that means that you're missing, she said in the morning, she had students come in 10 to 15 minutes late.
Every day.
In the afternoon, they have to leave about 20 minutes early in order to make it to.
Get out of the traffic.
Yeah, and so that's about 35 minutes a day. That's huge, yeah.
Yeah, we only have, what, 7.5-hour day?
I believe so.
With 30, it all flies by, with like a 30-minute lunch.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's missing instruction time.
Yeah.
And when we have clients, and, a lot of relocation companies send their clients here to live here, work here, because we are the best place to live. We have the safest communities. We have so many parks. We have all these amazing things. But it is a topic because some people will say, I only want Fishers because of X, Y, and Z, the diploma track, or a certain sport. And the same thing with HSE. So we hope there's choice in it, and now we believe there is. But you're right, we don't know if there ever will be. But right now the topic is, for you guys specifically, to talk tomorrow at the school board, is to say, listen, these are the amount of kids that are affected, and this is what we're requesting.
So really, it affects 132 students,
Wow.
005 and 006. There are 71 intermediate students and 61 junior high students.
Wow.
So 132 students. That's a drop in the bucket, really.
Well, we were doing girl math the other day, right?
Yeah.
How many in 71 intermediate? How many kids per class would that we were thinking?
So
impact.
this is funny. I actually
Yeah.
I was asking my my 7th grader. She was sharing with me that typically it depends on the year, but there are maybe 8 teams. 8. So
Right.
she was saying there was 8 6th grade teams at Fall Creek. In those 8, there's usually I think she said about 2-ish groups of classes.
Right.
And she said, that there's typically about 28 to 30 students in a class.
Yep.
It's
1 to 2, maybe.
yeah.
2.
It's so small.
As a former teacher, that's a high caseload. Anything over 25 is a high caseload.
Right.
30 is a high caseload.
I think it's different in the junior high and intermediate level. I've never
at
taught
elementary school
that
level,
but still.
There's a lot of social and emotional economics that are going on. Or somebody change that. There's a lot of social emotional issues going on in the middle and intermediate school, and that's a high caseload. But if the difference between 28 and 30, after 25, it's tough. I taught high school and I've taught middle school. It's tough no matter. The job is extremely difficult no matter what. And God bless the teachers that are doing this, especially post COVID. And you know what? Thank you for taking paid time off so you can come get your voice heard, because it's really cool to see that, we believe the system and we believe it could work, and we believe that maybe we can try to get a recommendation changed. Because after reviewing the research that you and I have discussed and you've shared with people, it seems like the impact's very low, and it could be something that the school board could consider tonight. To add that 005 and 006 stay to the Fall Creek track. Is that essentially what you guys want?
You had mentioned something interesting earlier about sports.
Yeah.
And at first, when I heard another parent share that was their big concern, I at first kind of, I don't want to say I looked past it,
Sure.
because it is still important.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, I think about our 4th graders.
Yeah.
We were playing, travel ball for HSE. We had to say whether we were going to HSE for high school or whether we were going to Fishers for high school.
Yeah.
So, she had pointed out, she said, well, if I end up at Fishers Junior High, what if I play middle school ball? She's like, how will that work out? I'll have to wear a Fishers jersey, and then I'm gonna go on the weekends and play.
Love that, Stella. Yeah,
I'm gonna play ball for HSE. Like, it doesn't,
for the feeder system for sports, which I am fully entrenched in building HSE sports.
Yes, we are hoping to stay on that, on the feeder path to go to HSE schools, since that has been kind of where
the
where
rub
we've
is.
where we've made our friendships, where we've, grown. I know that my seventh grader, she, wants to be, a royal. She, has always just
Yeah.
assumed that that's
We're
where
gonna be
she's
royals,
going.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Good point.
I'm,
Yeah, and people can say, oh, well, kids are resilient. Yeah, but so are adults. And if we see that this might be a minor impact, maybe we can raise a voice and let them know. If it's only 132 kids and the whole community wants to stay united, and I like the idea of all those kids being on the buses together in middle school and intermediate school. And you know, I know it takes a village, right? So there's carpools that we talk about a lot. Like it just would make sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and to keep them out of this feeder track to HSE, right?
right.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Is there any other like items that we should consider if coming tonight? Are there any pros and cons the public needs to think about, or is it really just there was people asked for feedback and now it's like this is our last minute rush to get feedback?
Um, so I feel like I didn't even realize how important it was.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like it was a little, I cared and
Yeah.
I cared, and then it was like at the last board meeting when I heard board members speaking up
Yeah, what
for
did
our
you hear?
area, I realized that there
Oh.
is, there is something that could be done, that
There
could be
are
said.
other voices that
Yeah,
are seeing what you see.
right.
And how many signatures did you get on your petition?
As of yesterday, I had 300 signatures.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that just shows that you felt called to do something and to say your voice, and we're at Portfolio. That's what we're about, and I'm just so thankful we got to talk about it because you educated me. And in Portfolio we have an office in Fishers, and we hear a lot about this, and it does affect our clients because people want to move because they're not happy about whatever their redistricting is. We know you can't make everybody happy,
Right.
but we're here to make us happy, and that's what we're here to do. So I just think it's really cool that you stepped into this as a young, busy mom, like learning about it and then realizing this is a bigger impact than for the 132 kids than it would be for the whole. And you're standing up, for the children. Like you're standing up for your community. Right. Like you built roots in your guys' area. You guys are all built to create a community, not to slice it up and set kids separately. Like
Right.
That's what you wanted, and that's what you guys should get if we can get it done. So it'll be interesting to see either way. Like we will roll with it, right? We roll with the changes. That's what we do here. But it's really nice to know that the school board's welcoming us to talk. They want to hear our voice. They have asked for feedback. And as a parent that it doesn't affect directly right now, I still got the emails and I check them all the time. So I feel like they did a good job communicating what was going on throughout the process. But now it's like hopefully tonight, 6 p.m., come meet up me and Jess and everybody else and see what goes down. I mean, nothing like standing up for what we feel is right and what we think is good for the community. And thank you for listening and caring. And thanks for taking your time off to share with us and educate me and my team.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, see you soon tonight, 6 p.m.